All right, students, we have reached the last part of our essay writing organization, the conclusion paragraph. We call this the so what paragraph. So remember when we started this whole process and we talked about the introduction being an upside down triangle, that you have to start the conversation with the reader, and then you give background, you talk about the title and author, your information becomes more specific, and you end the introduction with your thesis statement, which is your most specific statement of the entire essay. I bring this up because the conclusion now is the opposite. Whereas here we were walking our reader into our essay and starting the conversation, the conclusion is ending the conversation and sending the reader on their way out into the world. So a conclusion paragraph is the triangle turned the other way. We're going to move from very specific information, your thesis, stated in a little different way, to general, and then we let that person who's reading go off into the world. So here's how you do this. You start your conclusion by restating your thesis. You have to continually remind your reader what the point is that you have proven. And so restate it, but just a little differently so that the reader of the essay does not become bored with it. Then restate your main ideas of the essay. Recall for the reader what it is that you have presented. Relate your essay to life. How can you now think bigger and apply what you have written here to life? And then finally, end with a powerful, memorable last sentence. So, what tends to happen is that students have written this great essay. They have taken a lot of time to craft it. They have a very good thesis statement. They have evidence. They have analysis. They put all their time into it. And now we're at the last paragraph and they just want to be done. And we all understand that. We've all been there. But it's such a shame when you have this beautifully written essay and then it just drops off at the end. So that last sentence is like your last impression to your reader. And it should be so fantastic that I am sitting at my desk finishing your essay and I stand up and I just give you a round of applause, a standing ovation because you have ended your essay so impactfully. All right, so here's what you must have in your conclusion. Restate your thesis in a little different way. Remind your reader of the most important statement you have written. Reflect, expand, or apply your thoughts. No new ideas at this point, and a powerful, memorable last sentence. So, for example, excuse me, if you have talked about survival this whole time as a person needs, let's say, courage and creativity in order to survive, then in the last paragraph, don't all of a sudden say, although courage and creativity are essential for survival, intelligence is important too. That would take your reader on a completely different tangent. Now they're thinking about intelligence when that is not what you talked about the whole time in your essay. So keep your essay focused. That's what we mean by no new ideas here. Stay focused on what you have been saying the whole time. So, what is the purpose of a conclusion paragraph? It should help your reader see the importance of your thesis and the evidence and analysis you provided in your essay. Basically, it should do just what its name suggests. It should effectively conclude your essay by accomplishing the following goals. The first is to synthesize, combine multiple parts into a cohesive whole. Take the main points of your essay and essentially repeat them and expand on them for your reader. Show how all your main points work together to prove an important point. And then connect the ideas of your essay with your reader's experience or life in general. You can call the conclusion the so what paragraph. That's a good way if you're stuck to maybe get going, is to ask yourself, so what? Why does all this matter? Why did you tell me all of this? Your essay has been about a specific idea. Your conclusion is where you connect and or apply that idea to a wider world or life in general. Discuss exactly why your ideas matter beyond the specifics of your essay, beyond this just being an assignment. How does this matter in life? We talked about the parts of the conclusion. Here are some general tips on the bottom, however, that are good for all writers to keep in mind. Avoid cliches at the end, such as absence makes the heart grow fonder, or when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. First of all, those are in quotations. The creator of this slideshow was smart about that, so it's not plagiarism, but those also aren't your own ideas. You have a brain and you are smart, so be original. Come up with the way that you want to state this. Don't include new quotes or evidence. We talked about that. No new ideas in the conclusion. Leave readers with something thought-provoking. Keep them thinking about your ideas. And with that powerful, meaningful last line, and do not announce your ideas directly to your reader. For example, do not write, "My essay matters because," or "This essay was about." Instead, just make strong statements to finish it off. I think we've covered this. If you need a reminder, I will put this slideshow in Google Classroom. If you're feeling stuck, try this. Ask yourself these questions. Why does this subject matter? What is the big deal? All right, so here's an example. Now, this is an introduction, and we're talking about introductions with conclusions because they're related. So we looked at this particular introduction paragraph earlier in our writing unit. This is the one about Finding Nemo, and our thesis is that the most important message is the complicated relationship between a father and his growing son. We see that where a thesis belongs here at the end of an introduction. So this is just a reminder of what the whole essay was about. Imagine you went on to write 3 phenomenal body paragraphs in support of this thesis, complete with strong examples and rich analysis. And then how would you conclude the essay? What would you put in the conclusion? So here's an idea. Adolescence is a challenging time of profound change and development. Adolescents often begin to long for a stronger sense of independence than they have ever had, and this can create unique conflicts with parents. One of Finding Nemo's major themes is the tense relationship between an adolescent son and his protective father. So this whole part up here is restating the thesis, but in a little different way than how it has been stated originally in the introduction. So at this point, we should now be analyzing and connecting to the world what we have written in this essay. Nemo and his father, Marlin, struggle to strike a balance as Nemo craves independence and Marlin yearns to remain his son's protector. Ultimately, the two undergo a perilous adventure and realize just how precious their bond is, regardless of their sometimes conflicting impulses. Each individual grows into his or her identity in a unique way and faces a unique set of challenges along the way. Finding Nemo demonstrates this delicate and complicated balance, reminding its audience of the importance of both individuality and togetherness. All right, so here in the middle, we've restated our main thoughts, and we've started to connect this to life and to all individuals, right? So here we get out of the movie and we talk about how every person, every individual grows into an identity in a unique way and faces challenges. So that's a truth of life. So this is where the essay itself is now connecting possibly to the reader's life. And then we have this strong, powerful last sentence. This paragraph moves from specific information about the movie itself, and then it moves more and more generally as we are releasing the reader from the essay and sending them out into the world and hoping that our essay was so important and impactful that they keep thinking about it. It makes them contemplate life a little differently. That would be an indication of a very, very good essay. All right, so your assignment is to finish this great essay that you have written by writing a strong conclusion paragraph. And you can always go back through this slideshow and this video to remind yourself of all the pieces that you need.